So cooking can be stressful, and if you're like myself, not so good in the kitchen, the experience of trying a new recipe can be terrifying. Which brings us to our segment today. I'm with Jean, the owner of East Wind Lobster and Grill here at Buzzards Bay, and she will be showcasing one of her recipes.
Today we're going to be making an easy, creamy shrimp with spinach and roasted red peppers.
And if that does not sound yummy enough, wait until you see what she has for dessert. So join us, because this is going to be a one delicious show that you do not want to miss. So Jean, when I contacted you about to teach us, to give us a little recipe, you recommended, you said, I'm going to show you a simple recipe, dinner for two, in honors of Valentine's Day. And we know that Valentine's Day is just around the corner.
Yes, it is.
People have like 2 weeks maybe left. So for those who want to impress their loved ones, to go that extra mile, they need to pay attention to what you'll be doing here today. So just tell us briefly, what are the materials, what are the ingredients that we will be working with?
I call this an easy shrimp dish because it's super quick.
Okay.
We're going to serve it with some penne pasta, which you could, if you would like, you could use rice. You could also use linguine or whatever, but penne pasta is an easy fix for two. It's 10 minutes. And we've actually cheated and we cooked our pasta already. So what we're going to do is we are going to fry up some shrimp. Mm-hmm. You don't have to fry the shrimp, but because we have the friolators here, we're going to fry the shrimp in canola oil in our friolators, basically, yes. So that they're nice and crisp, and that's going to be sort of on the top of the dish. It's going to be a garnish on the dish. We're gonna saute up some onions and some garlic. Now we've actually cheated with the garlic as well. What I've done is, and I love to do this with garlic, I take fresh bulbs of garlic, and you can peel it or not.
Okay.
You can cut it in half. Drizzle it with olive oil and your favorite spices. Our favorite spice is called Mama Bear, which we make in-house. Okay. Which is actually salt, in order. It's garlic, onion, coarse pepper, kosher salt, and parsley. Okay. So this is our go-to spice. So what we did is we drizzled this with olive oil, some Mama Bear, and we roasted it. So it's nice and soft, all ready to go. Okay. So to start with, we're going to saute our onions and garlic and some olive oil. Then we're going to add some spinach. This is just baby spinach, which we already diced. This is super easy. This is roasted red pepper, which we got in the can. We took out all of the oil because it wasn't oil, diced it up a bit. We have some fresh parsley, Parmesan cheese, which is really key to this dish. Yes. This is chicken broth, wine, some crushed red pepper, and this is a secret in this dish, which is you're gonna see as we go. Oh, okay. I'm using evaporated milk as opposed to half and half. Oh, and okay, and why is that? Why are you doing evaporated milk? There's a few good reasons. Number one, there's more nutrients in it. Okay. But the main reason is it doesn't break down. So if you were to, get this dish going and it was too hot, the cream could break down and it would ruin your whole dish. So with the evaporated milk, it's kind of a full safe.
And what I'm happy about these ingredients are things that I can imagine and I can see them in my refrigerator. Yes. Sometimes you work with ingredients that you do not even know the names. You don't even recall seeing them at the grocery stores. But all this, the spinach, parsley, the onions, all these things that I normally use, not to make what you're making, but I occasionally use them.
Yeah, or you could play around too. You could use let's see, sun-dried tomatoes as opposed to this. I love the color. The colors are nice. You could add mushrooms to it. Okay. But this is just a super simple, tasty dish that we can have ready in 5 minutes or less.
Well, I'm ready to see you working then.
Okay, great. What we're going to do first is I have my sous chef here, my sister Lisa. Hi. Say hi. She's actually going to fry the shrimp, and like I said, we're a little bit spoiled here because we do have a whole friolator system set up. You could do it in a fry pan or you could just saute it as you go. We're actually going to cheat because we want to use the shrimp as a nice garnish on top. So while she's busy doing that, first let me explain, we just rolled the shrimp, which is a white shrimp. You get about 20 to the pound. It's a 21, 25 pound shrimp, which is perfect for 2 people. 1 pound is more than enough. We use a fry mix here, which is a corn flour, You could use just plain flour. You could even use breadcrumbs. So it's totally up to you. Again, this recipe you can play with and make it totally your own. She's just frying these in our Fryolator and just going to let them sit over there while we get the rest of it going. I'm going to add some olive oil to my pan. Just a couple of tablespoons, drizzle the bottom. To that, I'm going to add my onions. This was one medium onion diced pretty finely because we want it to cook. I like to melt my onions is what I don't want the onions to overpower this dish, in other words. So there goes the onions. This takes a couple of minutes to cook the onions down.
Does it matter what onion? Sorry.
I like a white onion. Yeah, just a basic white onion. I always keep some water near my stove because I don't want the onions to brown in this dish. So I'm going to add a little bit of water to sort of help them melt a little bit. So we have the olive oil, one onion, a couple of tablespoons of water. This is going to take a few minutes to soften the onions. We want them really soft before we move ahead because the spinach takes a few seconds, the peppers take just a minute, so we need the onions to be fully cooked. To this I'm going to add our roasted garlic. You can use as much or as little as you like. We like garlic, so we used, I don't know, probably 6 cloves of garlic. When you roast the garlic, it actually turns the flavor very sweet, so it's not as offensive as you know, cloves of garlic that are cooked al dente. So this is nice. We're going to just sort of smash these into here. We haven't added any butter to this. Again, this is just a little bit of olive oil, the roasted garlic, which it's a great way to cook the garlic in this dish. It makes it nice and mild. I'm now going to add a couple of tablespoons of butter. That's about 3 tablespoons of butter. Just under a quarter of a cup. Butter makes everything better, especially when you're using pasta. These are getting nice and soft. We can start to build a little bit now. I'm going to add the roasted red peppers. I love cooking with red and green ingredients. I just think it's so pretty. Almost time to add some more liquids. I'm going to add my chicken stock now, which is about a cup of chicken stock. Get that all mixed in. So this is just whatever white wine you like to drink. It could be Chardonnay. This happens to be Pinot Grigio. It's because what we have in house. So I'm going to add about a cup. This is probably 2 cups in there, so I'm going to add about a cup. Okay, now the next liquid that we're going to add, this is probably equivalent, you could use cream, like I said. I tend to use evaporated milk only because it's so versatile and it's so hearty in the kitchen, and like I said, it has actually more nutrients in it, more calcium, more potassium. Okay. When this comes to a boil is when I'm going to add the spinach and the grated cheese, and we are about a minute or 2 away from dinner. There's a lot of enthusiasts for gluten-free dinners, and this could easily be transformed to a gluten-free dinner. When we plate the shrimp, I can talk about that. We did bread the shrimp a little bit. You don't have to bread the shrimp. We could have sauteed the shrimp first, taken the shrimp out, and then started with the onions so that you cook the shrimp, you know, get a little crust on the shrimp in some olive oil. And in lieu of pasta, you could use rice. So that would be a totally gluten-free dinner. Almost fat-free, because we only used so far, what, 3 tablespoons of butter. You could eliminate that as well if you were looking for a more healthy option. If you so choose, you could use skim milk. I think the evaporated milk gives it a nice consistency and a nice depth to the dish, but you could definitely use a skim milk if you so choose. We're waiting for this to reduce a little bit, so it's coming to a nice bubble. Okay, it's coming to a nice bubble. I'm going to add the spinach right now. As much or as little as you like. This is probably 3/4 of a bag of baby spinach, just minced up. This is going to cook in no time, so I'm going to add the Parmesan cheese. This is about a 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. Again, the cheese, if you have a favorite cheese, you could play with that as well. I think Parmesan is great for this dish. Now you can see it's starting to thicken as well. Another quick boil on that. Here's where we're going to add the shrimp. This will also start to thicken the sauce a bit because it has a little bit of crust on there, so it will naturally thicken the sauce, but you can already see it happening. Okay, I like my sauces creamy. Some people like them more thick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of shrimp onto each of these. There's 2 shrimp on there, actually 3 shrimp on there. I'm going to drizzle it with sauce all around. Add a little more spinach for color. Well, it's all done. What was that, about 12 minutes?
I think so. That was fast.
That was fast.
It looks and it smells delicious. I know that you cannot smell it out there, but trust me, if you were to cook this at your house, everybody's going to fall in love with it. This is quite lovely.
It's awesome.
So I'm ready to try it.
Bon appetit.
Thank you.
Dig in.
What are you having?
This is delicious.
I think chicken
would be great with this too. Yes. Yeah. Sliced white chicken, slivered white chicken.
This is quite lovely. So I am, you know, with every single delicious dinner, you gotta have a delicious dessert to go with it.
Yes.
Right. So how about you tell us what we're going to be having for dessert?
We are going to be making a fried Oreo.
Fried Oreo. Now Oreos are sweet and delicious as they are. We have to fry them.
We don't have to, but we are going to.
Yes, we are going
because
to.
we can.
Yes, because we can. Are they going to be dipped in chocolate too?
No, I'm going to whip up the batter mix for you and get everything ready. So we might want to take a sec so I can get that set up. Okay.
So stay and remain right where you are.
Don't go anywhere.
Oreos are coming next.
Okay, we're not fooling around here today. We're going to fry some double stuffed Oreos. We actually have some powdered sugar to put on top. This is so simple. You'll definitely want to try it at home. You could make your own tempura, which is basically just flour, water, some baking powder, and make your own tempura. We're totally cheating. We're using a pancake mix. Okay, the pancake mix has basically everything we need in there. What I've found is if you add an egg to this, it really binds it and holds it all together. So I just put in probably a cup or so of the complete pancake batter, 1 egg, and now I'm just going to add as much water to make it cake-like. Not as thin as pancakes, just a little thicker. You can see where it's going here. Okay, I have my Fryolator all set up on 350 degrees. If you're at home and you don't have a Fryolator, you could, or a little Fry Daddy, you could always do this in a saucepan or even a wok. So you want to get your oil up to 350 degrees. We serve these in the store. We serve 3 to an order. I don't know anyone that could eat more than 3 of these, but I'm sure people have tried. I'm going to drop my Oreos right into this batter. Now this is kind of a quick process. It's a little bit messy, but I'm going to get the batter all over the Oreos. Sometimes they open up, you just put them back together. Now I'm going to put my basket into the Fryolator. Nice clean oil is key. This one started to open, but we're going to fix it. Okay. Like little donuts, don't they? I'm going to let these strain a little bit. Again, be very careful. This oil is 350 degrees. I'm going to put them onto some parchment paper, or at home you could put them onto some paper towels. Cheers. Yeah. Again, I've never seen anybody eat more than one order.
Wow, I'm very impressed by all this. You know, I learned a lot today, and I think that one thing I can take is from what we made here that you can afford to make delicious, nutritious meals apart from the Oreos.
Apart from
at home and with very little time. You know, so there is really no excuse of saying I work too hard, I cannot come home and make a decent meal for myself or for my family or for my loved one.
Yes.
That recipes like this are around and it's something that you can learn very easily and you can make it. And how can people sign up for your cooking classes?
You go on Facebook and you click under the events. There's 5 or 6 events out there right now, and if you were to click going, and then either just give us a call and prepay over the phone or stop in and find out a little bit more.
Okay.
But basically it's on Facebook.
Well, thank you.
Thank you
for taking your time, and thank you all for joining us today. We have learned so much, and I wish you were here with me because this is delicious. But you know what? Not all is lost because you can always come here to the East Wind Lobster and Grill at Buzzards Bay to learn, to take a class, or to just come here and eat. Try the food and see if you like it. If you like it just enough and you want to learn how to make it,
we'll teach you.
To teach you. Yes. So thank you for joining us once again. And from WCTV, I am Queen Banda. I wish you a wonderful day.
Thank you.